Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are reading verse number 39 of second chapter, the purport. According to Nirukti or the Vedic dictionary, Sankhya means that which describes things in detail, and Sankhya refers to that philosophy which describes the real nature of the soul. And yoga involves controlling the senses. So the first sentence, Srila Prabhupada is saying that what is the meaning of Sankhya? Sankhya is basically analytical study of the soul, nature of the soul. So that's the definition. Now, yoga means controlling the senses. Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his cousins and brothers, the sons of Dhritarashtra. So already we have discussed in detail. Prabhupada also explains in the previous chapter about all this. Prabhupada is again bringing that point here because to say that Arjuna was not ready to fight, right? Because based on the sense gratification. The sense based on sense gratification means the point is that he was in a bodily conception. He was not thinking about that his soul is not the body. So because of that bodily conception, he was not ready to fight. So that is why Prabhupada mentioned sense gratification. That doesn't mean that sense gratification like what we have. So it's basically he was thinking, because Arjuna had a different compassion. He had a compassion only. He was thinking like, why should I kill my relatives? It's killing somebody is not good. So he was thinking in that way. He was thinking in that way. But Krishna was condemning that, saying that you are speaking like a uneducated person or illiterate person. You are a great personality. You are a great soul. You know everything. But you are speaking from a bodily conception. That is not correct. So here Prabhupada mentions that forgetting Arjuna's duty, he was not ready to fight. He is forgetting his duty basically. And in the sense he is saying, okay, I am a Kshatriya but I don't want to fight. So that's not a good proposal from Arjuna. Right? So Prabhupada is telling that in both the ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. So basically Prabhupada mentions that either he doesn't want to fight, or if he is fighting and then he is winning the battle and then he is going to enjoy the kingdom, in both the cases there is sense gratification, Prabhupada mentions. Happiness derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification, even at the sacrifice of wisdom and duty. So definitely conquering the Kauravas, definitely they are going to get the kingdom, right? Arjun and Pandavas. So there is some sense gratification there. There is some happiness. Then Prabhupada mentions that by seeing the kinsman alive, so see the point is that nobody is dying, but still Arjuna and Pandavas, they are getting the kingdom back. So Arjuna's proposal was that why should I kill them? Okay, if they are going to give the kingdom, okay, that's a different case. But without killing them, it's not possible also, because the situation was like that. So Prabhupada mentions that by seeing kinsmen alive and also at the same time conquering them means there is some happiness which is based on sense gratification. Even at the sacrifice of wisdom and duty, because he is not ready to fight. That is why sacrifice of duty. He is not ready to fight. So if you are fighting, then definitely people will be dying in the battlefield. But he doesn't want to fight. So Prabhupada's point is that it was based on the bodily conception, or we can say sense gratification. So sense gratification, if you think about sense gratification, it's not as it's not just enjoying our we are gratifying our tongue or gratifying our eyes or ears. Sense gratification can be even in an extended way. Like if we are extending the extended sense gratification is our attachment to our family, even our attachment to the friends, attachment to the country, attachment to our hometown, attachment to those, no, that is also sense gratification, but in an extended, Prabhupada calls it as extended sense gratification. So everything comes under sense gratification. So Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjun that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper. And he explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, they were individuals in the present, and they will continue to remain in the future. So we have already seen that in the previous verses. Krishna already explained to Arjun that even if you are going to kill all these people, you are not actually killing them, because only the body is being killed but not the soul. Then he explains about the qualities of the soul. So here Prabhupada quotes a verse. This is the translation of a verse. He explained all individual persons, including Lord himself, all are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, individuals in the present, and they will continue to remain individuals in the future. Which verse, please? Which verse? Which sloka? In the second chapter. Anybody? Krishna is saying there was not a time when I did not exist, you did not exist. All these kingsmen. Very famous verse.
Prabhu 2.27.
You have to recite the verse. Not 2.27 for sure. And that's in the beginning of Sankhya. When he starts speaking about the science of the soul, he's quoting this verse. Anybody? Okay. If you don't know, please come back to me later.
Prabhu,
Hmm.
न जायते मृते वा कदाचिन नायम भूत्वा
No,
भविता वा न भूयम अजो नित्यं शाश्वतोऽयं पुनः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
not that verse. Not that verse.
Devaham Jatunasam.
Yes, please recite.
Natyevaham Jatunasam Natvam Neme Janadipa Nachaivana Bhavishyama Sarve Vayamataparam.
Thank you. Verse number
12.
2.20.
Oh Krishna, we have to go back to the previous verses. Let me just go there.
2.12.
Let me just go there. Yeah, this is the verse. This is the verse Mataji already quoted. This is the verse. 12th verse. Natumevaham. See the verse. Never there was a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all the kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. See, the same thing Prabhupada is saying here in a different, he is using different words, but the meaning is same. So we should be able to, tap that. That is how we should study Bhagavad Gita or any scriptures, because Prabhupada quotes lot of verses in the purports, but he will not be giving the reference of the verse, but he is he is writing the verse itself, the translation of the verse or the meaning of the verse. So we should be able to tap it. That's how we should study. Okay. Right. From here. We simply change our bodily dress in different manners, but actually we keep our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of material dress. Any analytical study of the soul and the body has been very graphically explained by Krishna. So already that explanation is over. He has already explained about science of the soul. So Prabhupada is saying that it is just like simply the change of just like changing the dress, we are changing the bodies. So just it's a material. What we are seeing outside is our material body is just a covering. It's just a dress. And this descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body from different angles of vision has been described as Sankhya in terms of Nirukta dictionary, which we have already seen in the previous section. This Sankhya has nothing to do with Sankhya philosophy of the atheist Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila's Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained to his mother Devahuti. So Prabhupada is telling that there was one impostor Kapila, there is one original Kapila, Kapila Dev. He is Kapila Dev, son of Devahuti Mata, and he is an incarnation of Krishna. And the beautiful conversation between Lord Kapila and Devahuti Mata is coming in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So great details, so many details about Sankhya, about the nature of the soul, about the matter, about the spirit. So much description is there. So Lord Kapila is considered to be the Lord of Sankhya philosophy, basically. So here there was Prabhupada mentions about another Kapila who was an atheist, basically. His name was also Kapila. But he was having some different philosophy. He was trying to speak about Sankhya philosophy, but in an atheistic manner. So Prabhupada is telling us there are two Kapilas, basically. So it is clearly explained by him that the Purusha of the Supreme Lord is active and that he creates by looking over the Prakriti. He is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with individual souls. All these individual souls are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of the material energy, they are thinking of being the enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya or sense gratificatory illusion, and it is only after many births of such sense gratificatory activities that a great soul surrenders to Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, thereby fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth. Nice. So Prabhupada says here, it is clearly explained that Purusha or the Supreme Lord is active and he creates by looking over the Prakriti. So we all know how Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu, is doing creation. We have already explained this in the previous section also. I don't remember when, but Mahavishnu is glancing on the pradhana, or we can say material nature. Of course, all the ingredients of the material nature is created by Mahavishnu, and it is all placed in a place called, or we can say in a section of the material world. This is again before the creation of the material world. So there is something called Mahatattva. So Mahatattva is nothing but all the material elements are there are present there, but and that is the field of germination, in the sense that all the creation happens from there, basically. So what Mahavishnu is doing, that Mahavishnu is glancing on this Prakriti, or we can say Mahatattva, by glancing, what is happening is that he is impregnating, he is giving the seed of living entities, or he is impregnating the living entities into the Prakriti, and from there actually the secondary creations and all those creations happen later on. Our Brahmaji is taking care of the secondary creation, wherein Jivas, he is giving Jivas a particular body according to their karma. So that's how the creation happens. So Prabhupada mentions here that Supreme Lord is creating the world, creating the material world just by glance over the Prakriti. And this is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicate that Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated with individual atomic souls. So that impregnation, that is why it is said that we are coming from Mahavishnu, because Mahavishnu is creating from Mahavishnu all these Jivatmas are coming, basically, those who are in the material world. Those who are in the material world, and we are not talking about those devotees in the spiritual world. we are talking about the jivas in the material world. So jivas in the material world are basically coming from Mahavishnu, and he is the seed giving father, and he is impregnating onto the mother, we can say Prakriti, and from there this the further creation happens. So all the Prabhupada mentioned here that, so after what will happen, so many living entities are created, so many living entities with different bodies, they are coming, they are taking birth here, and everybody, Prabhupada mentioned, all the individuals are working in this world for sense gratification, not for anything else. And all of them are under the spell of material energy. So every one of us are under the spell of material energy, including the animals, including the plants, including the trees, all the living entities. Each and every living entities are under the spell of material energy or Maya Shakti, and we are under the modes of material nature. The three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo guna, we are under the clutches of this material energy. And Prabhupada mentions that the mentality of enjoying, basically, everybody wants to enjoy. Animals, they want to enjoy. We want to enjoy. Human beings, everyone wants to enjoy. So that mentality of enjoying mentality is dragging us to the last point of liberation, wherein some people say that I want to become one with the God. Like the one with the God means they are merging into the God. So Prabhupada mentions that is the last layer of Maya. So basically this is the Mayavadi conception that Krishna, they say that Krishna doesn't have a body, Krishna doesn't have a form, and Krishna is like, in the sense, the Supreme Lord is impersonal, not person. Means he doesn't have a form, and the ultimate absolute truth is Brahma Jyoti. And the purpose of life is to merge into that Brahma Jyoti. So that is what Prabhupada mentions here. They want to, last point is they want to become one with the Lord. And that is not a good proposal. And also Mayavadi they say that individual soul and super soul or Krishna or the supreme super soul doesn't have any difference. All are same, they say, which is not correct actually. So basically, the Mayavadi's conception is that there is no difference between God and us. This is the final conclusion of Mayavadis. So that is why Prabhupada mentions this is the last snare of Maya, because it is completely wrong, that conception. We are different. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. We are only part and parcel. We are only atomic soul, just part and parcel of Krishna or the Vishnu. That's all. We are not equal to him. He is great. So Prabhupada finally mentioned then here, after many births of such sense gratificatory activities, a great soul surrenders to Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, thereby fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth. Another verse. Which verse? Hare Krishna. Not from second chapter, but very famous verse. Anybody? After many births, we are surrendering to Vasudeva.
Hare Krishna. This is 7.19.
Please quote the verse, not the numbers, please. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Yes, correct. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Prapatyate Vasudevam Sarvamedi Sah Mahatma Sudurlabha. Such great souls are very rare, Krishna says. After many births, we understand or we surrender to Krishna and understand Krishna's supremacy. Then Krishna is saying that such souls are very rare. It's not easy to find some people like that. So dear devotees, all of us are very fortunate. We are not Mahatmas, but at least we are in this path. We are not coming into the category of what the 7:19 says, but still we are not Mahatmas, but we are somehow in the same path. So we are now worshipping Krishna, understanding Krishna's supremacy, understanding the form of Krishna. We are trying to worship, we are trying to chant his holy names. So we are somehow here. So Krishna is saying that after many births of sense gratification we are getting. So we have done all the sense gratification of this world. There is nothing in this world which we have not tasted, my dear devotees, just think about this. There is nothing in this world which we have not tasted or which we have not enjoyed in this world. Everything, all kinds of sense gratification we have gone through, but still problem is that we are still hankering for more and more. Why? Because we got that habit of enjoying our senses. So this is the problem. So we have to come out of this, otherwise we will be always here. So if you want to go to spiritual world, we have to come out of all this sense gratification, material sense gratification. So Arjuna has already accepted Krishna as his spiritual master by surrendering himself unto him. Shishyasteham Shadi Mam Tvam Prapanam. This is 2.7. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. In other words, the practical practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of the Lord. See, so Prabhupada is now telling about, he's saying, now Krishna will be speaking about Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. See, now Karma Yoga is equating to Buddhi Yoga. And again, Prabhupada mentions that is practice of devotional service for the sense gratification of the Lord, not for our sense gratification. Means doing the activities for Krishna. And that is basically Bhakti or Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. But again, dear devotees, there is some subtle difference also. We should always never think that Karma Yoga is same like Bhakti Yoga. Of course, there is of course in Karma Yoga there is Bhakti Yoga also, but Bhakti Yoga itself is something different, or in the sense that's pure, which is not mixing with any Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. It's something different in the sense in the pure state we are talking about. So Prabhupada further, we will speak about that later. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10. See, chapter 10, verse 10. And being direct communion with the Lord, who is sitting as a Paramatma in everyone's heart. But such communion does not take place without devotional service. One who is therefore situated in devotional service or transcendental loving service to the Lord, or in other words, in Krishna consciousness, attains to this stage of Buddhi Yoga by the special grace of the Lord. The Lord says therefore that only to those who are always engaged in the devotional service out of transcendental love does he award the pure knowledge of devotion in love. In that way, the devotee can reach him easily in the ever blissful kingdom of the Lord. So which is the verse 10:10? Chapter 10, verse 10. Yes? Chatuslok. Yeah.
तेषां सतं युक्तानां वसता प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददाति बुद्धि योगं तं येन माम उपयन्ति ते.
Thank you. Yes. So here in that verse, Krishna is speaking about Buddhi Yoga. So Prabhupada is quoting that verse here. He is saying that Tesham sadada yuktanam bhajadam priti purugam. Whoever is doing bhajan means pure devotional service. Whoever is doing bhajan, sadada yuktanam, always, without deviation, one-pointed. Whoever is doing bhakti or pure devotion, then dadami buddhi yogam tam, I will give them intelligence by which they can come to me. This is the verse. This is the promise from Krishna. So basically, that is the ultimate, that is the nature of, we can say that is Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. So here Prabhupada is, connecting that to Karma Yoga. Why? Because all of us are doing so many karmas, right? We are doing so many karmas, daily, day-to-day activities, so many activities we are doing. So when we are doing those activities and, and also surrendering those activities, we can say, or dedicating those activities to Krishna, then that becomes Karma Yoga. And that Karma Yoga also has Bhakti element in it. That is why he is saying that it is sometimes called as Buddhi Yoga also. So don't get confused with Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga, if you are asking what is Bhakti, what is the difference between then Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga? There is a difference. Karma Yoga, please listen, please understand this. Karma Yoga, we can't call it as Karma Yoga unless it has Bhakti in it. Or we can say unless there is a touch of Bhakti Yoga, then we cannot call Karma Yoga as Karma Yoga or any activities as Karma Yoga. So when there is bhakti means there is some dedication, or you can say there is some submission to Krishna. Even so, karma yoga means basically we are performing different activities, and those activities we are dedicating to Krishna. That is called as karma yoga, right? So there is something called dedication to Krishna, or dedicating to Krishna, or submitting to Krishna, right? So that comes under bhakti. That is how that connection comes to, or we are getting connected to Krishna through karma. But pure bhakti or pure bhakti yoga means that includes Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, those processes, 9 limbs of bhakti. That is exclusively bhakti yoga. We can say direct devotional service. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga are also, you can say, basically karma yoga, because Jnana yoga is mainly so much speculations are there. Karma yoga is basically performing the activities for Krishna. So this is more connected to, we can say, to our day-to-day activities also. That is why all of us are doing 2 things every day. Maybe Jnana yoga also, little bit. Jnana yoga means studying scriptures, analyzing that. We are doing that. Karma yoga also we are doing, because we are doing so many activities every day, and we are trying to dedicate that to Krishna. Then that it becomes karma yoga, or in other terms we can say it's also part of bhakti. Also, we are exclusively chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, sitting and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 rounds, or studying Bhagavatam. That comes under direct devotional service, which is bhakti yoga. So bhakti yoga is there everywhere. That's the point. So we should know the difference of all these yoga systems. At the same time, we should know the importance of bhakti yoga. Means bhakti yoga is there everywhere. Otherwise, that yoga system will not work. Karma yoga system will not work without bhakti, without a tinge of bhakti. Or Jnana yoga system also will not work without a tinge of bhakti. So bhakti should be there everywhere. That is why all the yogas will culminate to bhakti yoga. Krishna says, Prabhupada also mentions very clearly in the books. Okay, let's go ahead. Thus the buddhi yoga mentioned in this verse is the devotional service. See? So Prabhupada is saying that here in this word, Krishna is speaking about buddhi yoga. That is devotional service. And the word Sankhya mentioned here has nothing to do with atheistic Sankhya yoga initiated by imposter Kapila. We already discussed that. One should not therefore misunderstand that Sankhya yoga mentioned herein has any connection with atheistic Sankhya, nor did that philosophy have any influence during that time. Nor would Lord Krishna care to mention such godless philosophical speculations. Right? Of course, Krishna will never speak about atheistic Sankhya. So definitely, Sankhya here means the Sankhya of Lord Kapila, not Sankhya of imposter Kapila. Because imposter Kapila also was proclaiming that I am also speaking Sankhya philosophy. That is why Prabhupada repeatedly, makes this point very clear, that imposter Kapila has nothing to do with our philosophy. The real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila in Srimad Bhagavatam, but even that Sankhya has nothing to do with current topics. Here, Sankhya means analytical description of the body and the soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of buddhi yoga or bhakti yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya and Lord Kapila's Sankhya, as described in Bhagavatam, are one and the same. They all are bhakti yoga. Lord Krishna said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya yoga and bhakti yoga. Sankhya yogo pratak bala pravadantina panditaha. So Prabhupada is now explaining that point, that there is connection between Sankhya yoga, bhakti yoga. So all this has connection. So Sankhya yoga is basically leading us to bhakti yoga, and bhakti yoga is already bhakti yoga, right? So there is a connection. So Prabhupada mentions that there is some. So the correct understanding is that all are bhakti yoga, but there are different gradations also. We should not think that all are same. There is connection, of course. There is similarity, But there is some subtle differences also. Differences in the sense, in the levels. In the levels, there is some difference. As we mentioned before, direct Bhakti Yoga is chanting, remembering, then Smaranam, chanting, hearing about Krishna, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, these are direct devotional service. So, but other Sankhya philosophy or Karma Yoga has some connection with Bhakti. So, in short, Prabhupada mentions that everything is leading to Bhakti Yoga, or everything is culminating to Bhakti Yoga. In that sense, he is saying that these are same. Otherwise, not otherwise, by the way. So we should understand why Prabhupada is speaking that, or why Shastras are saying that everything is basically Bhakti Yoga. Why? Because everything is culminating to Bhakti Yoga. Of course, atheistic Sankhya Yoga has nothing to do with Bhakti Yoga. That is anyway not our topic. That is completely out of the topic, because it's atheistic explanation. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness and in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. One who works for the satisfaction of the Lord only, however difficult such work may be, is working under the principles of Buddhi Yoga and finds himself always in transcendental bliss. So Prabhupada mentions here that Buddhi Yoga means working for Krishna. This is again Karma Yoga only. So working for Krishna, working in Krishna consciousness means dedicating all our activities to Krishna, and that is Krishna. Prabhupada mentions that this is in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. Means this is basically devotional service only, because we are doing for we are performing our activities for the satisfaction of the Lord, not for us. If it is for us, then it is not Karma Yoga basically, or it is not Buddhi Yoga. It is simply Sakama Karma. So here we are dedicating, or we are acting in Krishna consciousness. We are keeping Krishna in center of our life and then performing our karma. Then it becomes Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. In this context, Buddhi Yoga is Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga or activities, performing activities, Karma Yoga, all are same. In this, all are coming in the same category, particularly in this verse. Okay. Because Krishna ultimately wanted Arjuna to be a pure devotee only. Of course, he is a pure devotee. I mean to say, he is teaching all of us through Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is only nimitta, but Krishna is teaching all of us that Bhakti Yoga is the greatest. So we should come to that level actually. So when we dedicate all our activities in Krishna consciousness, then we will come to that stage wherein naturally, we will feel that we will have that love towards Krishna. That is pure bhakti. Now what we are doing is all mechanical, but we are somehow, like for example, we are cooking. We are cooking food, we are cooking bhoga, offering to Krishna and eating, honoring the prasadam, and we are maybe dedicating many things for Krishna. Or we are saying that, okay, Krishna, I am dedicating this to you. But again, it is not in a pure state. No, we know that there is so many mechanical. All these are mechanical. We do arati, we do so many chamara, dulabo kabe, we do so many things, but most of the times it is mechanical. Why? Because we are not pure yet. So that is why. So we are in the process. We are in the process of becoming completely purified, but not now. So we are doing so many activities dedicating to Krishna, but not that dedication is not coming from the heart. Somehow we are doing, that's all, mechanically. But raga stage, raga bhakti is, when it becomes natural to us. So whatever we do, whatever we think, means always our thought will be about Krishna, and always we will be doing devotional service, because we will be completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. That is a different stage altogether. Okay, so now at least we are doing mechanically. That is good. That's a good move. That's a good thing. That's the right way to do. For considering our situation, we are not pure devotees yet. So by such transcendental engagement, Prabhupada mentions, one achieves all transcendental understanding automatically by the grace of the Lord. And thus his liberation is complete in itself without his making extraneous endeavors to acquire knowledge. So Prabhupada mentions that if we are dedicating all our activities to Krishna for the satisfaction of the Lord, then we will get satisfaction for sure, and also gradually we will be progressing, we will become pure, and all the knowledge required for us to get out of this material world will come to us. Prabhupada mentions that extraneous endeavors may not be required always. We will get required knowledge. So that is the power of bhakti. By performing bhakti, we will get all the understanding. That doesn't mean that we don't have to study the books, study the scriptures. Please don't think in that way. Okay, I will do only chanting. I will not read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Because Krishna says that if I chant or if I do devotional service properly, then all the knowledge will come to me automatically. So thinking that, please don't take such decisions that I will not study. That is not the point here. The point is that even though we are not qualified to understand any of these things, we will get some understanding by the mercy of Krishna. Why? Because we are dedicating our activities deliberately, consciously. We are dedicating our activities to Krishna, even though maybe it is not in a pure state, maybe in a mechanical way, but still we are doing that. Krishna will accept it, and Krishna will bless us, and we will become gradually purified. So that is the point. Okay. So there is much difference between the work in Krishna consciousness and work for fruitive results, especially in the matter of sense gratification, for achieving results in terms of family or material happiness. Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. So Prabhupada mentions that there is difference between acting in Krishna consciousness, which is work in Krishna consciousness, which is called as Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga in this context. So, and also working for fruitive results, that is Sakama Karma. So there is difference between Karma Yoga and Sakama Karma. That is what Prabhupada mentions. And so Buddhi Yoga or Sakama Karma Yoga in this context is therefore the transcendental quality of work. So when we perform that activity, any karma, for the pleasure of the Lord, and that becomes Buddhi Yoga. That is what Prabhupada mentioned. And that activity becomes transcendental. So we are not doing any mundane activity, and we will not be getting any karma also for that particular activity. Otherwise, we will get some karma, because we don't want any karma. If we are getting karma, then our karma's account is getting increased. We will not be able to get out of this material world. In order to get out of this material world, our karma account should be zero. So unless and until we dedicate our activities to Krishna, that account will not be zero. So what we have to do is that all our activities we need to dedicate. So what about other karmas already mature in our account? We can't do anything now. But there is an option. Krishna says that all the prarabdha karmas can be vanquished. He can burn out. He can just clear off very easily if we perform devotional service sincerely. So if you are chanting Krishna's name, if you are performing devotional service with sincerity, then all our prarabdha karmas also can be nullified. That much power holy names has. Holy name is so powerful. Anyway, we are not chanting to remove all our, get rid of all the prarabdha, by the way. That's not our mode of doing it. But it will happen automatically. Our mode is to please Krishna. Should be. Our mode to, why we chant, why we do devotional service is just to please Krishna, nothing else. Other things, removing the prarabdha, all these things will happen as a byproduct of it. We don't have to keep that as a goal of life. Our goal is Radha Krishna Seva Pavo E Abhilashi, nothing else. So in that way we should proceed. Okay, so we took 1 hour to discuss one verse and purport. So Prabhupada is explaining in great details so that we can properly understand the tattva, we can properly understand the philosophy. So we are going a little slow, but I hope this is very helpful for all of us. So it's not that we are finishing chapter by chapter, verse by verse. That's not our purpose of life. Purpose of life is to Study something, and Prabhupada always mentions study scrutinizingly. Even if we are going slow, we are not losing anything. We are not losing the goal. Understand? Because if we are just jumping from one verse to one verse, we may be academically, we can say that, okay, I have completed my Bhagavad Gita, I got Bhakti Shastri degree, I have Bhakti Vaibhav degree. What is the point? Krishna is not looking at our certificates. Krishna is not looking, seeing that how many times we have read Bhagavad Gita, but how much you have understood from Bhagavad Gita, how much, whatever you understood, are you following in that life? This is what Krishna is looking. Not that how many times we are reading, or how fast we are going. That's not the purpose of our study. So, understanding the mood of our acharyas, Prabhupada, why Prabhupada is explaining it in great details? To make us understand. Otherwise, he can just say the meaning of the verse, that's all. Little small purport and move forward. He is not doing that. He is spending time. He has spent time for all of us to make us understand. So we have to go. We have to respect Srila Prabhupada's contribution and accept that great gift and try to follow in our life. That will make Prabhupada happy. That will make Krishna happy. That is the goal. That is Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, satisfaction of Lord and our acharyas and our Guru. Then our life ban jayega. Jai ho. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrindi ki jai. Gaude Guru Vrindi ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Thank you. Hare Krishna.